Under the Apple Tree, Growing the Awareness of Hard Cider with Bob Kenney. Video number 1, My Goals. Hi, my name is Bob Kenney. Thanks for joining me today as I explain why I created this video series called Under the Apple Tree. During my over 40 years in the beer business, I represented some of the greatest beers in the world. But it wasn't until I went to work for the Goose Island Beer Company that I had a chance to represent a cider, Virtue Cider from Fenville, Michigan. My goal for this series is pretty simple. I want to grow the awareness of hard cider in this country. My plan is also pretty simple. I want to visit as many cideries as I can. I want to showcase their wonderful facilities. I want to interview the cider makers to get a handle on what's happening in the world of cider. But most importantly, to sample and to showcase the great ciders they're making. I'll post these 30-minute segments on my channel with the goal of encouraging people to visit these cideries and also enjoy the flavorful cider that each and every one of them is making. Here are a couple of numbers you may not be aware of. There are over 800 cideries in the United States, but cider represents about 1% of the total alcohol consumed in the country. So there's a huge opportunity gap for hard cider. Many of these cideries are located where the apples are grown. Kind of makes sense. And that'd be the northern portion of the state of New York, the western portion of the state of Michigan, and the Pacific Northwest. But cideries are also popping up in places maybe you didn't think of. Texas, the Carolinas, Florida, and Georgia, all are states which have some great cideries located in them. Now, some of these cideries are located in the middle of wonderful apple orchards. Others are located in the middle of our major metropolitan cities. Each one has its own vibe, and each one has a story we want to be able to share with you. Now, before working with the Virtue team, I wasn't a cider drinker. Sure, I tried a couple of the national brands, but for me, they were just too sweet, and I never went back to cider. I quickly learned from the Virtue team that crushing apples to get the juice, fermenting that juice out, wasn't the end of making cider. Quite often, it was the beginning of making great ciders. Cider can be sweet, but it didn't have to be sweet like I thought it did. Cider can be as dry as your favorite white wine. Rosé cider tastes just as good as any rosé wine on the marketplace. Ciders can be aged in bourbon barrels, just like the craft brewers age their beer. And cider can be infused with fruit, just the way the vodka suppliers infuse fruit into vodka. And ciders can be a great base for a series of cocktails. The innovation capabilities that a cider maker have are limitless. And that's another part of the story I want to be able to tell. So that's my plan. Please subscribe to the channel, share it with your cider drinking and non-cider drinking friends, and join me on this journey as I visit some great cideries and help grow the overall awareness of hard cider. See you under the next apple tree.